What's up, guys? I hope you're well. Today we're checking out Formula One Explained for rookies. I'm a rookie. As you can tell, I'm very excited about this. I'm enjoying these videos. I can tell you guys are enjoying them too. So let's get into this, shall we?
What will happen over the course of the next 66 laps? Max Verstappen is champion of the world!
You've been hearing about F1 too, right? Cool.
Not from you.
Formula One racing into Miami for the
This
first
will keep my attention.
Ticket and towel.
Hooked on Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive.
This is a car race at over 200 miles an hour in cities all over the world.
Miami Grand Prix, Bahrain Grand Prix, here in Monaco.
With insanely famous drivers.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world
And
champion.
100-person teams. Racing cars so advanced that they're practically spaceships.
100 people? That's insane.
And so expensive that they had to make a rule that teams couldn't spend more than $140 million
Wow.
each. And it's only getting bigger. Just look at this. This is from a construction camera at one of 2 new US racetracks. This one's in Miami. This cost $40 million to build, and it hosted nearly 250,000 people over 3 days.
Dang.
That's a Super Bowl worth of people every day.
Yeah.
And one of them was me.
It's the first ever Miami Grand Prix. We're racing in the States and it's lights out, away we go.
This is the coolest. I just love F1. But a lot of people, because of all this hype, they're hearing about it right now for the first time. And they're feeling a little bit,
I don't understand.
So let's get into it. This is F1.
To be honest, I have heard of F1 for many years. Kind of seen snippets of it here and there when the races were on TV, but never really sat down and paid attention to it fully until now.
Explained for rookies. What you need to know to keep up with this crazy, expensive sport that everyone's suddenly obsessed with.
Lewis Hamilton!
Verstappen holds it!
It's done!
But it's also a look at the bigger question here, the huge question, which is, why do this? Like, why pour so much money, so much technological effort?
Because it's probably
into
a
F1
lucrative sport.
and entertainment. The answer is in what we get in return. This isn't just a car race. This is a space program for the road.
General growth in interest.
Formula One.
F1's becoming much more of a thing here in the States.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Win the Italian Grand Prix! The Bahrain Grand Prix!
If you're new to F1, you might know its American cousins. NASCAR has the least family resemblance. Closed cockpits, oval tracks. IndyCar and F1 look more related. They've got the spaghetti-looking track, open cockpits. But there's one really important difference between these two.
Horsepower.
And it's the reason why F1 specifically is such a big deal. In IndyCar, all of the cars use the same frame, or chassis, the DW12. So the competition here is mostly in how you race that car.
Yeah.
But in F1, every team has to design and manufacture their own cars. And the best part is that they get to improve the cars
That's
between
awesome.
each race. Or not, depending on how they do. So the competition in F1 actually centers around the car itself. Not just how you race it, but also how you build it and rebuild it again and again and again. This is why I love F1. It looks like the sport of daredevils, but much more than that. It's the sport of nerds.
Nerds!
But before we get to that, I want to show you something. One of the questions that I get asked the most about my
Hold
videos
on.
is, where did you get all of that footage? And the answer is,
Haha!
each team races 2
Got
cars,
through that
so
ad.
2 drivers for the same team. Each event, or Grand Prix, is 3 days. Practice, qualifying, and race day.
Okay.
I watch these on TV every time they're on.
Nice.
But this was the first time I ever got to see it in person.
Got to see the car up close, that was awesome. Now I am inside the Mercedes garage.
Truly, I have never had more fun at a sporting event and seen less of what was actually going on.
So right now they're about to do a practice.
Here's how this works. The order of who does the fastest lap on qualifying day becomes the lineup at the starting line on race day. And passing isn't easy, so where you start is a really big deal. Depending on where drivers finish, they get
that's a huge
different
wreck.
points. After 10th place, no points for you.
No soup for you.
Drivers
No
want
points for
the most
you.
points themselves to win something called the Drivers' Championship. But teams want to get the most points total to win the Constructors' Championship. The 2 championship thing actually kind of makes for funny mismatched incentives sometimes. You can hear it on the radio when teams have one strategy, like they want to let drivers pass each other, and drivers get really mad about that.
If he's quicker, we let 3.
That's very unfair.
But okay.
But generally, everybody agrees about the big things, which are drivers, race your fastest. Teams, make the best car.
Yep.
All right, here's the fun part.
Lego is here. Hey, kids, look.
There's my driver. Hello, Lewis Hamilton. Think of an F1 car like an airplane upside down.
Okay.
Both meant to move as quickly through the air as possible, right? But where an airplane's wings work to lift it up, these cars' wings work to keep it down.
Okay.
Why? Because winning doesn't just
Gotta
depend
have
on
some
going fast.
downforce.
It also depends on keeping control.
That looked
And
expensive.
that requires a firm grip on the ground. Take a look at the shape of this car. Now watch how the air moves across it. See how some goes above the wing and some squeezes the long way underneath it? That creates a situation where there's higher pressure above and lower pressure below, sucking the car toward the ground. That's actually happening all over the car, not just on the wings. And we could talk for hours about the design features on this thing, how they shape and use the air. Some pull air in through the car to cool it down. You can actually see there's a hole there. I think they're trying to
Nice.
imply that on my Lego model.
I see it. Yep.
Some actually let the driver release air, lessening that downward pressure and allowing them to go faster in order to pass. It's kind of like a Mario boost. Actually hear this in a
Yippee!
race. Listen for DRS here.
Now, Charles Leclerc is going to have DRS to try and fight it back.
Taken together, an F1 car is just a symphony of aerodynamics.
Okay.
I actually got to see them up close and personal when I was in Miami.
We're going there.
I absolutely did not keep my cool. You can see teams perfecting these cars over the years,
Yep.
understanding the need for wings and adding them and changing the shape and pushing our understanding of aerodynamics to shave off just fractions of a second. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of people work on this, all
Dang.
for one team. So, how much does this cost?
A lot.
F1 teams don't really want to share the details here, so there's a lot of speculation. But they're also companies, and some of them have to file their financials somewhere. So
Yep.
with a little bit of research into various European countries' reporting requirements, hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Here they are.
Wow.
Annual reports for every F1 team I could find, which is actually 8 out of 10, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
That's actually pretty good.
As a fan, this is kind of cool. Like, look, this is Toto Wolff's signature. What I learned from all this is that running an F1 team costs anywhere from $95 million to $425 million.
Okay.
That's a lot of money.
But
is a lot of
the
money,
year
Homer.
After these were filed, F1 instituted a new rule saying all teams were only allowed to spend $140 million. So these reports are going to look a lot different for this next coming year.
Oh, good.
Still a lot. No matter what, F1 teams spend a ton of money. So, what do they make? These reports show that F1 teams make approximately nothing. They run surprisingly close to break even. Red Bull,
Wow.
for example, made $230 million in revenue, and then add these two up, $229 million in costs, and they ended up with approximately $1.2 million in profit. This is in pounds, actually, so that's $1.5 million.
Okay.
These aren't the wildly profitable enterprises.
No, not at all. Wow.
So why do they do it? Well, take a look at this.
For the love of the
This is the
sport.
Ferrari annual report.
Uh-huh.
Our brand image depends in part on the success of our Formula One racing team.
I can
The
see
racing
that
team
actually,
is a key
yeah.
component of our marketing strategy. It's advertising.
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 It's great.
They use F1 to sell other stuff, whether that's luxury sports cars or a sports drink.
Red Bull gives you wings.
I mean, as entertainment, F1 is incredible. But a lot of people do feel that it's somewhat wasteful.
How much does a Formula One car cost?
$400 million.
Is it worth all that money?
This is bigger than F1. It's kind of crazy to think about how much work we as a species put into entertaining ourselves.
Yeah.
But I think what makes F1 feel particularly acute for some people is the technology element here. All of this engineering work and all of this energy being spent on 20 fossil fuel reliant cars makes people wonder sometimes if that energy might be better spent elsewhere.
Like literally anywhere else.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
But F1 is more than just entertainment. It's better thought of actually as one giant experiment.
It's alive!
Pushes everything to the extreme. What do you need to create to compete at this level, to keep control at these speeds, to keep the driver safe in these conditions? The idea is that the technology that they
walked away from that? Holy crap!
Us non-race car drivers. My question was, is this actually true, or does it just sound good? I wanted to find specific car parts that were developed for F1 and then ended up in my car. But the more research I did, the more complicated it got. People often talk about paddle shifters, for example, but those were actually developed decades before F1. F1 teams just made them better. Same for active suspension, anti-lock brakes, traction control. What I found was that F1 was less trickle-down and more flywheel. F1 combines technologies that might already exist and then pushes them to an extreme, making them better in the process and then inspiring, or literally manufacturing, better tech for all of us. For example, take thermal efficiency, the percentage of energy from combustion that actually makes the car go, as opposed to being lost to heat. Most combustion road cars have a thermal efficiency between 20 and 30%, which means only a third of the energy actually makes the car go. F1 cars can't refuel during the race, so there's a very strong incentive for them to be efficient. They're at about 50% now, thanks to new hybrid engines, gains that have been dragging the rest of the car industry forward. Or data collection. Sensors on F1 cars collect huge amounts of information and then feed it back to the driver and the team. They didn't invent a lot of these systems, but they use them in ways that they've never been used before. And that's actually getting more and more important as we move potentially towards self-driving cars.
That's
this is the
neat.
real promise of F1, and it all stems from that original requirement to build their own cars. Basically, we'll do all of this research and development, and we'll create new technologies and also combine all of the cutting-edge tech, and we'll push it to its limits and develop it further, and you don't even need to pay for it. We'll race these things against other groups of engineers doing exactly the same thing in this crazy round-the-world sport that lots of people really love, that is actually, at the end of the day, the biggest, most expensive group project science competition of all time.
That's one way to look at it, I guess.
People debate whether or not we should spend money on lots of our efforts to learn. And yet, they consistently push forward both the tech that we actually use and our understanding of the world around us. In this case, it also makes some money, and it's fun to watch. I think once you see
silently freaking out.
lots of things.
That's funny.
We need people working far beyond the edge, like pulling forward the limits of what we can do. The question now is, what do we need to learn next? If F1 pushes forward car innovation and the future of cars is electric, does F1 need to get more electric too?
They have F1E, which I caught part
And
of
if
it the
F1
other day.
doesn't
It was
go more electric,
interesting.
Does it get farther and farther from its original promise over time? Less applicable to the technology that we use and more a novelty. Oh, let's go watch those cars that use gas. I don't know. Now you're up to speed. You can watch a race, you can enjoy it with your friends, and you can also speculate, like the rest of us, where it's all gonna go. I'll be watching with you, and I'll be rooting for my favorite team.
There you go. No, that was interesting. Wow, I learned a lot from that, and now I feel like I'm up to speed, so that's really good. I look forward to doing more F1 videos in the upcoming near future. But yeah, this has been a blast so far. I'm enjoying getting to know the sport of F1, learning how it operates, seeing some similarities in, NASCAR and seeing the wide differences. So it's really cool to kind of sit here and in my mind kind of compare the two, but also see the drastic differences. But with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. Stay safe and don't forget to wash your hands. Bye.